I'd like to call to order the Quarry Monitoring Committee meeting for Tuesday, January 24th, 2003. Please take the roll.
Alderman Barber.
The time
Here.
is 6 p.m.
Member Swenson.
Present.
Elder Swenson.
Present.
Elderwoman Wilhelm.
Here.
Member Ten Haken.
Here.
Member Pins.
Here.
I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just one announcement before we get started. Brian Marish is no longer part of this committee. He resigned from the committee, so we are the people that be. If you know someone who wants to join that dynamic monitoring committee, please have them turn their name in.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Who was his appointment? Was he your appointment? Because we each have an...
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
You didn't appoint him, so.
No, I appointed Mr. Pinks.
And who did the mayor appoint? That was you? So that must be me.
Okay. Thank you.
If you know of anybody, I'll appoint them. Okay, moving on with the agenda. Minutes from the November 29th, 2022 meeting.
I would so approve. Move that to be approved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? No. The meeting or the approval is unanimous. Approval is unanimous. Is there any citizens who would like to make a comment at this time? Seeing no citizens rise, I'll close the citizen comment period. Are there any? We're going to eliminate the hearing.
Yes, that's
There
the
are no-
last item.
There are no hearings this evening. Okay.
There would be no citizens present.
Nobody stood up. Isn't that the same thing? No, their citizens could be present, but they aren't standing up. Yeah.
He's a present because they all work for, everybody works here, so there's no citizens present.
However you'd like to word that. Your discretion, sir.
Well, I decided if someone was listening to the tape, they might think this would be full of people that didn't speak.
So noted. Moving on to the business section, item 5. Action may be taken on any item. So the first item is the quarterly presentation from Stanek Consulting Services Inc., fourth quarter of calendar year 2022, October, November, and December.
Okay. So the fourth quarter report covers October through December of this year. The report, based on the discussions at the last meeting, there is in the section where we have the summary of the blast events and complaints, there are a summary of the comments that were made during the complaints that were received by the city. So I'll just go over the report like usual. There was one visual monitoring event in October. Pretty typical, minimal if any dust along Rawson Avenue, but nothing else. That once again, that was just a perimeter observation event. We did not go inside the quarry. There were a total of 18 blast events in the fourth quarter. 13 of the blasts were confirmed by the Stantec monitors. The majority of the ones that weren't detected were detected only by the Payne and Dolan meters that didn't have one of our meters paired with them. Blasts happen based on our locations. We don't always detect everything. Per the PDD, the Quarry has an 85% compliance minimum that they need to have for the maximum vibration. None of the blasts during the fourth quarter were above that limit for vibration, and none of the blasts for the year actually were above that limit. The second number that we pay attention to is the decibel reading for the air overpressure. None of the blast events in fourth quarter had a reading of greater than 123 decibels. There was one right at 123. And for the year, they had a 98.8%. It was picked up by our monitor. Ours was slightly lower. Yep. Was higher, yeah. Yes. Yes. They had the highest reading of the 2 meters. So overall, and there was one blast that was over the 123 decibels, which is 98.8% compliant rate with that versus the 85% that's permissible. We did have our meters recalibrated. One was done in September and one was done in August. And that's part of our annual work that we do on the meters. For the blast complaints for the quarter, there were a total of 7 complaints. 2 of the 7 complaints, 2 of them were informal. 1 did not provide a location at all. All of the complaints were regarding vibration-related issues. All of them corresponded with actual blast events. One of them was a voicemail message with day, so we're going to assume it was associated with that. 7 of the 9 had locations provided. 6 households complained once, 1 complained twice. 2 of the complaints didn't have a name or address provided. 1 was requesting confidentiality, and per previous discussions, that address could be provided upon request, but is not included in this report. On October 10th, of note, there were 2 blasts in a short time period, and the complaints, and one of the comments was it was an extremely large quarry blast, shook the whole house. Several car alarms went off in the area, worst I've experienced in 20 years, and somebody else stated it shook the entire house. On the October 31st blast, someone commented they were inside their house, the windows rattled, and I felt and heard the blast. All of the windows were shut. Another stated it shook the house and the furniture we were sitting on. For the November 10th blast, the complete house shook. Pictures with water in a glass was moving. And the last one that we had comments regarding the complaints was on December 19th. A longer sustained rumbling blast shook our home. Doors and windows rattled. And the last comment was, this was a much more significant blast than we've experienced in the recent...
The ones that you just read off, October 10th through December 19th.
Yes.
Where was that blast location?
If we go to the blast map, towards the back, all of the...
Location?
If we go to the blast map, towards the back, all of the blasts this quarter that resulted in complaints were happening in the southern portion of the quarry.
Okay.
I find it amazing that all of the blast complaints are regarding vibration and not sound, because we've seen in the data that sometimes the blast will start approaching the maximum decibel range, but we were never getting anywhere near the maximum vibration range allowed of 0.3 per second, inches per second. And we're seeing more numbers like 0.153 as a large number, and that's not even halfway there yet, or just halfway there yet. So it's always amazing to me that the complaints are always regarding vibration and not sound, because the limits of sound, but definitely not with the vibration figures that we see.
Just make it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much always been like that, and a lot of the residents said, what would happen if they actually carried it out to the maximum limits to our houses? So, just because I have the history concern, and that's why, you know, we've talked to Clint and said, hey, can you please just keep it as low as you can, because what we're trying to do is prevent complaints, and
Sure.
we've gotten down there pretty well to that, but we're still not there. But and the closer they get, I think the more it's going to keep happening, or it's going to go out.
Yeah.
It's going to keep happening, or it's going to go out.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
person who said the biggest blast I felt in 20 years wasn't here in the 90s before the PDD was in effect. Those were some rumblers back then. Yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd comment on that.
Any comments? Hearing none.
Okay. Along those lines, all the complaints that we had an identified location for were south of Drexel Avenue. Occasionally we get one east of 51st Street, but that was not the case this quarter. The map, you've got the different colored dots.
Yes,
The map, you've got the different colored dots.
yes, I noticed.
And so you can see people of complaints directly south of the quarry this time.
Okay.
So like the yellow circle is...
The yellow circle corresponds with the complaints that are in yellow triangles.
Okay.
That pink circle are blasts that didn't have any complaints. So you can see not all complaints in the south result in, not all blasts in the south result in complaints either. Based on the data I have, I can't make a guess on it.
Yeah, it's always been our dilemmas. How do we keep it there if we can't figure out how, why?
Right.
Yeah.
White glass in that specific spot.
The map in the packet only has the top right along Drexel. It didn't go down into the packet.
Oh, it's oh, okay.
The
Oh, it got chopped
cut
off.
off down below.
Here, now,
Yeah, I see it up there, yeah.
you want me to? I can zoom in a little bit closer.
No, I
Closer.
can
Okay.
see them on the map, but I was just wondering, because
Yeah.
What is there? This one?
Yeah, mine was right too.
Oh,
Yeah,
mine-
yours is a little different.
Map is different than.
maybe it's my printer.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
You printed it at home? Yeah, it may
Oh,
have.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah. You printed it at home? Yeah, it may
Oh.
have.
Okay,
The setting on there could have easily done that.
yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to expand.
During this quarter, the weather, we had varying weather conditions for the blasts that resulted in complaints. 3 of the blasts were before noon, 1 was just after noon. 1 blast had 1 complaint, 1 had 2 complaints, and 1 blast had 3 complaints. So, like I said before, the southern area of the quarry was where all the blasts with complaints originated. And that was about it. So the big change this quarter was that we had that short summary of the comments.
It's nice to see them.
Yeah, is that kind of what you were hoping for? Was my big question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And we might see. easy suggestion for me to implement, so thank you.
The only thing I'd maybe ask, or maybe just to be considered, is to put down the blast data from that date as well.
Okay, so to put
If there is a complaint here on October 10th,
that I can put the error, or the highest
the two,
decibel reading and the highest.
right,
Yep,
and
okay.
then that as to what
Okay.
the actual numbers were to the event that's being complained about, and then we have that almost everything right there.
I can add that.
I was thinking that maybe because we weren't getting noise complaints, it's more vibration, is that it's such a 2-hour-long rock concert. It's a 15-second at best, 10 seconds event, so it kind of rolls quickly, so maybe noise is less bothersome to people than.
And one thing I know for certain is that the decibels decrease exponentially with distance. So, that is a benefit as well. That every extra 50 to 100 feet you are away from the quarry, it's going to be quieter.
Sure.
Attachments A and B are just the generic.
The data and the methodology and the history. And then the blast data for the quarter and the map illustrating where the complaints were and the blast locations were are at the very back.
Cool.
We needed to have the history and the methodology somewhere in the report, but we wanted to take that out so you could focus in on the new stuff every time is up front.
Any other suggestions or improvements or anything that would make this more readily available for you to read? Looks good to me. Okay, would it be appropriate to move this on to council just as a FYI, or do you just want to do the annuals?
Yeah, we can include the 4 quarterly reports, so then we close the year.
Okay,
with the
so
3
just
quarters.
one
Well,
at the
with
one at
4
the end of
quarters,
the year
yeah.
is what we've been doing this.
Sure.
Okay,
With
so
3
just
quarters.
one
Well,
at the
with
one at
4
the end of the
quarters,
year
yeah.
is what we've been doing this. Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to place on file.
I'll motion.
I'll second that.
Been a motion made and second to place it on file. All in favor, say aye. Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on to a review and discussion of matters, Section 5B, matter citizen and the Stantec City Consultant. Now, is that Payne and Dolan? Want to recap that?
Yeah, I don't have any updates since can play are low during winter time. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, that's like you requested to have both data in the packet, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No complaints.
Sitting at my dining room table. I can't talk until the mic's on. I was sitting at my dining room table today when the blast happened, and I thought that was a little bit different. You know, it was like a little back bump on the end of that vibration, but it was not bad at all. You know, it was a different kind of a rumble.
Yeah, that's not surprising based on what we're doing there right now.
Okay.
Is a back bump a technical term?
It's mine, yeah. I'm going to copyright it.
Okay. I like it.
So, Jim,
Yes.
gentleman there, which I don't know your name, but,
Wes,
Your mic.
there used to be did it go up?
Oh, mine's on.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
All right. There used to be or do you work with the other guy, or did you replace the other guy that would come in, that did the blasting, or? Because I thought there was another, did the blasting, or? Because I thought there was another guy that used to come in here with you.
So Derek Novotny is our blasting manager, and also
Oh.
Quentin Maxwell, so those two guys will come and go as needed. Wes is a quarry supervisor, he handles a lot of the day-to-day operations.
Okay, so they blast. They actually put they're the dynamite in the
There's-
rock guys.
Well, they're licensed to do it, but we don't do it, they supervise the contractors that are.
Oh, okay.
So they're providing the service internally for Wes.
He's definitely in the pit, you can tell by the boots.
Yeah. So Wes is there day-to-day, yeah. So Wes is there day-to-day, watching the day-to-day operations, so.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on to item 5C, amend the committee agenda template for deletion of hearings.
Staff review the procedures for the committee and also the PDD ordinance, and I consulted with city attorney if we need to have the hearings for all meetings, for all agendas, sorry. And there's no need to have the hearing signing for all agendas if needed. But
I can't think of a situation that currently exists under current conditions where there could be a need for hearing.
Right.
no.
Planning or changing or
Yeah.
anything. I could definitely say that I'll entertain a motion to remove it.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to remove it.
Okay.
Motion to remove it. Second. There's been a motion made and seconded to remove the hearing from the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Passes unanimously.
I would assume if there are any hearings to be done, that would be
Given
Or the probably would be before the common council or the plan commission and not here. Yeah, because we're just recommending body, so I have a hearing. Yeah.
we're going to keep an eye on things.
So the next thing on the agenda would be meeting, scheduling, discussion. Would that be March that we'd be looking at now? March 7th?
I
No.
will not have a report,
No.
not until April, would be the soonest I can have one.
That means you have to bring the donuts then.
Well, what does the group suggest, that we have the meeting in April then, when the date is available for us to get together, and then the chairman could call it?
There really is nothing else that we are discussing or doing besides.
Just the year-end Quarry report. Or recap for the year-end for the Quarry blasting.
But then we'll go to common council. So, no. I mean the 4 reports from last year. We're sending that to common council.
There's no recap for the year?
Just
No.
quarterly reports.
Okay. So there isn't any reason? Does anybody
No, I
can foresee a reason?
I think he has enough going on. Give him a break.
See a reason?
I think he has enough going on. Give him a break.
And unless it's needed for some reason.
Okay, at the call of the chair if needed. Okay. So what would be the date in April?
The week the 24th, I'm in Texas all week.
We're flexible.
With the 25th?
But you're going to be going.
I'm in Texas.
Oh, sorry.
Starting
Oh, sorry.
the 24th.
That week, not the week before.
So the week before, maybe?
I think that's the week I'm. Double check for you.
Well, actually, if we stayed on the regular schedule, we wouldn't even actually have it until May anyway. We have January, and then the next one we skip February, the next one would be March. And since we're skipping March, we actually, if we stayed on that schedule, we would skip April and wouldn't be there until May anyway.
Every other month, yeah.
So why don't you just do it
May.
May? Because that keeps you on the same schedule all the time.
Right.
You're just basically canceling your bi-monthly meeting altogether. That would just be a clean motion to cancel the bi-monthly
just don't want it coming to me again.
I would miss you terribly. I'll call you if I miss you.
Yeah, call Nan, call Nancy.
May the 23rd?
Of May?
That sounds good to me,
That would
if
work.
that works for the rest of the committee.
Sounds good.
That would work for me.
So unless there's a major issue that comes up where the call of the chair would change that, we will set it up. Is it a requirement to have bi-monthly in our
That's what we said we were going to do from now on, is how we said it, because we were trying to, the citizens were demanding that we stay on some kind of schedule. So
Yep. Yep, but there's no language in the rules that we meet bi-monthly. But we, there was a motion to meet bi-monthly, yeah.
So the motion would be to suspend the rules?
Well, no, you just make the motion to cancel the bi-monthly meeting. You'll just go back right on the regular schedule.
I'll entertain the motion for that.
Motion to cancel the March meeting.
I second that motion.
And suspend. What's the language that you suggested?
What he said is fine.
Yeah.
He's just saying, I said bi-monthly, but he did the same thing by making this motion, so.
Okay. There's been a motion made and seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed unanimously. So now we have that fateful moment where someone motions to adjourn. But first, I'd like to thank you for your report. I think it's coming together very nicely, and the addition of the Quarry information based on the quarter that we were working with helps a lot. So thank you for your help in putting this all together. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I would move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion. All opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously. We are adjourned at 6:20.